Free beer and hot wings in the morning. Grand Rapids rocks all day. 97.9 GRD rocks.
Mostly sunny, 60 the high. It's 43 downtown. So Wood TV8 had an investigative piece. We saw a slide for it last week on their website.
Yeah, there was.
And we were like, "Oh, I got to know about this."
Yeah, just the limited amount we read was enough to hook us.
Yeah, and it's I think it's a series they're doing called Alibis Ignored. Forgive us at Wood if we're getting this wrong. But I saw part of this story last night. And if the part that I saw is representative of the rest, I sat there thinking, well, this is like a Stephen Avery making of a murderer type
awesome
thing. But I came in the middle and didn't see the end. So there's a chance that what I'm giving you right now is going to be a big fat waste of time.
Okay.
No
but
way.
I doubt it.
All right.
No. This from Wood TV.
Target 8 is digging deeper into the case against a Kalamazoo County man serving life in prison for the 1990 murders of 2 deer hunters. At 7 o'clock, we showed you how the Michigan Innocence Clinic has taken up Jeff Titus's case, saying there's no way he could have done it. But now, Target 8 is revealing a new twist in this case involving the private investigator hired to help defend Jeff Titus. Here's Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker.
That private investigator,
now they said
state police.
Just to put this in your pocket, private investigator hired to help the accused.
Yep.
Okay.
Police lieutenant who was hired to help Jeff Titus ended up marrying Titus's ex-wife.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
It's a shocker. And then I wonder, was he working for me? Was he working for an ulterior motive? I don't know.
Jeff Titus, a former Marine, was the first suspect identified in the November 1990 murders of Doug Estes and Jim Bennett, hunters whose bodies were found in a state game area right behind his land. 2 strangers each shot in the back at close range through their hunting licenses. The original detectives told Target 8 they cleared Titus with alibi witnesses who said he was hunting that afternoon on their farm 27 miles away.
That sounds good.
A decade later, the Kalamazoo County cold case team focused again on Titus, and he was charged with the murders. Titus's defense team, led by attorney William Fetty, included Howard Swabash, a recently retired Michigan State Police polygraph examiner.
He was the private investigator hired by Mr. Fetty.
Swabash was married at the time, but records show his wife filed for divorce in January 2002, 5 weeks after Titus was charged with murder. Transcripts of the divorce hearing obtained by Target 8 show Swabash's wife claimed her quote-unquote husband's unfaithfulness led to the breakdown of their marriage, though she did not identify the other woman. Target 8 reached out to Swabash's ex-wife, but she refused to comment.
Oh,
then
God,
on Halloween,
that poor lady. As if it wasn't awful enough. Now she's,
yeah, right?
I wouldn't want to talk about that if I were her.
Day 2002, 3 months after a jury convicted Titus, Titus's wife Julie visited him at a Saginaw prison with Swabash.
Yeah, he come in that day on October 31st, 2002. He come in with Julie and my daughter.
Prison records confirm Howard Swabash signed in as a visitor at the same time.
They came up to visit, and then she turned around. I guess her real motive was to tell me she was divorcing me.
Titus's wife filed for divorce 2 weeks after that visit, saying they had not, quote-unquote, gotten along for years. Records show Swabash and Titus's ex-wife got married in Florida in April 2005, less than 3 years after the conviction. Retired Kalamazoo County Sheriff Sergeant Roy Ballard was one of the original detectives who cleared Titus in 1990. He said he confronted Swabash at the Kalamazoo County Courthouse not long after Titus's conviction. The defense had not called those original detectives as witnesses. They say they would have testified about Titus's alibi.
And I
that's
why?
crazy. I don't understand how he came back into the picture.
Yeah, if it had been a cold case for, what, did they say, a decade? Now, it's plausible that the wife and the private investigator
Became
going
close.
through a traumatic thing, became close, and then
Yeah.
either way is possible. There's a couple things to but the fact that he was cleared initially, and then they go, nah, and then why the defense wouldn't call them?
I'm a little, dumbfounded.
Why he did not even bother to give me a call to find out what my feeling might have been on this case if he was going to be a investigator to prove Jeff Titus's innocence. He became very vocal and several curse words, to put it gently, and got on the elevator and left.
The Michigan Innocence Clinic took up Titus's case at the request of the original detectives.
But our screening system is very rigorous.
So those detectives believed in the alibi strongly enough that they started to pursue this. And if that's a very valid question.
And then the new investigator didn't even bother to investigate the original investigators' claims.
You didn't place one call to someone you know would have been friendly to what you...
Right?
Oof.
Such that we've only taken about 1% of the cases that we've reviewed so far. And Jeff Titus is one of those.
While the Innocence Clinic is claiming Titus's attorneys failed him, Swabash's connection to Titus's ex-wife is not part of the appeal. Does it raise your eyebrows a little bit?
It's unusual. It's obviously very unusual. But, you know, in these cases, we often see a lot of things that cause you to raise your eyebrows.
And that would be one of them?
That would be one of them.
Do you have any doubt in your mind that the wrong guy is in prison for this?
I have no doubt.
No, he wouldn't have taken it on.
Right. I mean, you just said less than 1%.
Swabash now has a private polygraph business in Schoolcraft. We tried repeatedly to reach him and his wife, but they have not responded.
Wow, Ken. Unusual is one word for it. What a twist.
Right.
Yeah, totally sketchy.
It's an interesting twist. I mean, it's one I don't think the Michigan Innocence Clinic had heard quite before. So.
Well, then it's just so mind-blowing to hear about the things that just did not happen in this case.
Yeah.
The people who were not questioned, the people who were not brought back out again. It's unbelievable.
Which is why the Michigan Innocence Clinic, part of the reason they took this case up. So
we'll continue to follow it.
I hate hearing stuff like this.
Sort of like Making a Murderer, though. Mm-hmm. I would love to hear the other news story about why he is the right guy. Because I'm sure there would be an argument that could be made.
I want to know.
Obviously, prosecutors think it.
Yeah.
And that would be nice to know. What evidence they had, what evidence they found that they eventually then convicted him with.
Not that Wood is being disingenuous with what they reported.
They just don't have a long, they have to fit a lot into a short period of time, is what it is, as opposed to Making a Murderer, which was in 13
hours.
Different,
I do. You were saying you hate hearing that because you wonder how many are there.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's probably once a week where you see a major story from somewhere in America where somebody's being let out of prison.
Yeah.
After a long time.
Decades.
Hell, what was that one we played not long ago where the guy was let out, but there's still...
That was in Tennessee, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they still wouldn't take away his conviction, or they wouldn't pay him.
Weird.
They wouldn't pay him the normal money somebody would get because for being wrongly imprisoned, even though he is, from a DNA perspective, been eliminated from the possibility of having been the assailant based on new technology. And they said, I still don't believe him.
And isn't that like they wanted him to sign something? I don't know. I don't want to reach back into my memory. I do remember what you're talking about, and I remember it was completely shady in an obvious way to everybody, but nothing was being done.
Pretty wild.
I know.
I want more on that.
I do too. So, are they giving us more? They better follow up on it.
I'm not sure there is. I mean, I'm guessing eventually when the case is... when the Innocence Project gets back to it. You imagine all the cases they turn down that they must feel are really close, but they don't have enough time to do all of them?
Yeah, a ton.
Imagine if you were like in the others receiving votes category.
Oh.
Like it's a big deal. There should always be hard DNA evidence to convict, to even, think about it. I hate the idea that they go, well, this is I think I can do something with this. I think as a prosecutor, I can just argue his guilt. Mm-hmm. And then you have, a jury of their peers, which, the world, most people probably take, they don't really care about what's going on. I hate jury duty. Let's just get this over with.
Yeah.
They can't really process the facts.
Just convict the guy and be done with it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, scary stuff.
Yeah.
Green Day, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, 97.9 GRD Rocks.